Hi, guys, and welcome back to Actually It's Amira, where I talk news, celebrities, hot topics, and everything that's going on these here YouTube streets. As always, please be reminded that everything I say on this here YouTube channel is allegedly and it is just my opinion. Why? Because I do not know these people. Why? Because I do not know these people. So if you're here for the tea and you're here for a fresh perspective on what's dropping in the news. If you checked out my thumbnail, do you know that I'm going to be talking about the criminal activity that Blac Chyna is accusing the Kim Kardashian Kim Kardashian and clan, as well as the E Network of what kind of slick sounds like forgery. Now, she didn't say that, but what she does say is this. So, People magazine released a news article that says Blac Chyna denies she willingly accepted a $100,000 kill fee after Rob and Chyna was canceled. She goes on to say, "Why would I sign a kill fee for my number one show?" The model said, and her and ex-fiance Robert Kardashian's short-lived reality show on in court on Thursday. So she basically is trying to plead ignorance. Now, Chyna, girl, you know I got your back to the fullest extent of having your back. But I'm going to need for you to be very clear. Did you, in fact, sign a document saying that you wanted to kill your hit reality TV show and accept payment, cash set payment? And now you're trying to sue. I hope that this is fake news because oh hey Crystal, how are you? China girl, I want you to know from the depths of my soul that ignorance is not a defense in criminal court, in civil court, in federal court, in appellate court, in superior court. It is not. Ignorance is not a defense, China. First of all, it's not a defense because you have access to lawyers. So it's going to be very difficult for you to try to convince a jury that you received a contract that said you were kill meaning terminating your hit reality TV show in exchange for monetary benefit. $100,000 in compensation up front, and then a potential $370,000 for upcoming appearances on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Blac Chyna, I know you got a good lawyer in Linciani, and I'm sure Linciani read over this document. So what People Magazine is reporting has to be some bullshit because there's no way that you have signed an agreement to terminate your show and willingness. And I'm telling you right now, ladies, ignorance is not a defense in court. You cannot go to the attorney and say, I did not know my rights and therefore I signed. What you can go to the court and say is that I hired a lawyer who was trained in contract law, who understood the ramifications of this agreement that I was signing, and they informed me that it was a good idea to sign this contract. China, and in that case, your legal dispute would be with your representing attorney, not with the Kardashians and not with the E Network. Because if they offered you monetary benefit and you chose not to negotiate and or fight for yourself, it's not looking good for you. I'm hoping that this is a lie. That's number one. Number two, it sounds like you're accusing them of forgery because Blac Chyna goes on to say that while I recognize that that is my signature, that is not a document that I signed. So to me, that raises a red flag. And if I'm Linciani, I'm saying, wait a second. Did they copy and paste your signature? Did they get a digitally image print of your signature and forge it on a document? Because now you're talking about an entirely different crime here. But China, if you are saying, wait a second, that is my signature, but I was not aware what I was signing, baby girl, you're going to have an uphill battle. The article goes on to say, during her appearance in the Los Angeles Superior Court on Thursday, China, born Angela White, offered new details about an alleged kill fee she accepted after her reality show, Rob and China, was canceled. While being questioned by the Kardashian Jenner attorney, Michael Rhodes, China was asked about a talent agreement she signed and a kill fee she received. The lawyer also inquired about an extension of her contract through August 2017, which allowed the network to decide if they wanted to renew her Rob and Kardashian show. According to Rhodes, Chyna, 33 at the time, was paid $100,000 as a kill fee for her show, and an additional $370,000 to appear on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Though Chyna admitted to accepting the $100,000, she said she thought the money was for filming, not because Rob and Chyna was canceled. So Blac Chyna's defense is that she was signing an advance fee. She thought she was signing an advance like she was a rapper. I'm signing an advance for my contract of $100,000, like a sign-on bonus, not a kill fee. Now, Chyna, I understand. And honestly, in the jury box, I could literally believe that you do not have the intellectual savviness required to interpret legal jargon, right? Because if a company is trying to get creative about how they want to present something to you, they could bury it in a lot of big words, a lot of confusing statements, and a lot of interpretation that a human, like a regular person, might not be able to understand, especially if they are not operating with more than a high school ed diploma. However, Chyna, you have access to lawyers. You have access to lawyers. And I wonder if Chyna is going to try to implore the social network defense. So, if you guys have ever watched the movie The Social Network with Mark Zuckerberg, Divian Devernda, and his best friend sued him for the creation of Facebook. And the defense that his best friend employed was that he did not understand the legal terms of his contract, and that he in fact thought that the people who was presenting the contract to him was his attorneys. So I wonder if that's the defense Chyna's trying to prove, that she in fact trusted the Kardashian Jenner family to be acting in her best interest, and as a result, she thought that they were her lawyers. She thought that they were her lawyers. If you guys have never seen the movie The Social Network, that is the exact defense that Mark Zuckerberg's friend in the movie deployed. He used ignorance as a defense. And with a really good lawyer, that could work. However, Chyna would have to prove that it was the Kardashians who negotiated her initial contract, and therefore they acted as her representation. If she can prove that Kris Jenner played an integral role in negotiating her initial contract, she may be able to use the ignorant defense. Because if Kris Jenner's attorneys negotiated her original contract, then she would be within her rights to assume that the renewed contract was being negotiated in her best interest, and therefore she did not need to hire outside counsel to review the specifics of that contract. So I'm gonna need Feliciani in court tomorrow. I'm gonna need for her to prove that Chyna substantially relied on the network and the attorneys of the Kardashian to negotiate in her best interest, because they had brokered her first deal. That is the only way. That's honestly the only out she has under this bombshell. Because what just happened is quite honestly a bombshell in the case. If she signed an agreement with her own signature with ink and pen, killing her own show, she's in for a ride. And I'm really hoping that she didn't do that. I'm really hoping that it's a case of fraud. I'm really hoping it's a case of forgery. And I'm really hoping it's a case of some bullshit. Because Chyna, ignorance is not a defense unless you can prove that you substantially relied on their expertise to negotiate an offer in your best interest. And my spidey senses are telling me that she did. My spidey senses are telling me that Kris came to her as Captain Saber Mom, as she always do, and said, "Here you are, Chyna. I want to take you in and nurse you on my bosom. I want to stand in as Tokyo Tony and negotiate some financial benefit in your interest, because you here, young child, are the mother of my granddaughter, Dreamy. And I am acting in your best interest. And if Chyna fell for the bullshit, and believed that nonsense, if she believed that nonsense and did not read the fine print of her contract, which is in plain English, she could have got screwed. But if I'm Linciani, I want to see the text messages. I want to see the emails. And I want to know from Chyna up front, was Kris Jenner present in your negotiations for Rob and Chyna on the E! News Network? What role did she play in you signing that initial contract? Because if you can prove that you substantially relied on her expertise and her lawyer's expertise, then baby girl, you've got a case. You've got a case of epic proportion. That if I'm Linciani, I am all through the weeds. Pause. Hold the phone, Tyrone. She signed that contract blind because she thought that they were her lawyers. She would not sign her own death certificate. Exhibit case law. Mark Zuckerberg versus the, what were those called? The Winklevoss twins, right? And his friend, his best friend, Robert. I'm asking my husband. I can't remember this guy's name. What was the best friend's name in the social network who sued Mark Zuckerberg in the movie? The Jewish kid who made the fraternity. I'm sorry, I can't hear a word you're saying. Remember the Jewish kid in the social network who sued Mark Zuckerberg for basically trying to steal his money? Justin Timberlake and him conspired. Peter Thiel, whatever, they conspired to steal his money. Those twins? No, not the twins. Those were the Winklevosses. The Jewish kid with the dark hair who was his best friend, who planted the story of the chicken. Mark, okay. What was his name? Do you remember? Ooh. I can't remember for the life of me. I don't know. Dang it. It was a little Jewish friend. It was
I know who you're talking about.
He wrote the code on the window.
He was there because
he was a CFO. Exactly. Damn, what was his name? Oh, he was dating the Asian girl in the movie.
I get it. I'm right there with you.
You're right there, but you're not there. I need you to come closer. No. Come closer, cause I just can't wait. Okay, so we can't think of the guy's name. We cannot think of the guy's name, but he was his best friend in the movie. I can't Google it. Here, Google it. Google it.
Like, you could have edited.
He took his name off the masthead. I'm live, babe. I'm live. You can't. I'm live. Yeah, but that's case law. If he can pull that there was actually a ruling. Actually, Chyna did accept the 100K. Plus, she got paid to show that he already filmed. Hey, Deborah. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. There is case law, a precedent in which Mark Zuckerberg got sued by his best friend in the movie. This was a real lawsuit, though. They just made a movie out of it. And his defense in the movie was that he thought that the guys who were actually stealing from him was actually his attorneys because they had falsely represented themselves as his attorneys during the initial stock offering. And that is what Chyna needs to prove. If I'm Linciani, I'm pulling case law from the Zuckerberg case. And I am saying that Chyna substantially relied on Kris Jenner and her attorneys to negotiate her contract because they had presented themselves as friendly fire throughout this negotiation. Did you find it? Google the social network. Google who sued Mark Zuckerberg for the idea of Facebook. I cannot think of this guy's name. I know somebody in my chat got seen this movie and remember this guy's name. Also, she made at M in 2020 and has not paid any taxes. Now, what Chyna got going on with the IRS is different. They ain't got nothing to do with this. But Deborah, I feel you. I hope she ain't messing with our Department of Treasury. Don't be playing with folk. A promissory estoppel. Yeah, 2M in 2020. If Chyna ain't paying her taxes, that's a separate case. That's U.S. Department of Treasury. That's a different case. They don't play. Don't be messing with the federal government about your taxes. Lord, you better lay low, Chyna. I'm with you in the lawsuit because I think they did play her. But I keep telling you guys, it's not about what you know. It's about what you can prove. And Mark Zuckerberg got sued by his best friend, and my husband has yet to give me this information. This is a simple Google. What is taking so long? No. Social network Mark best friend. Okay, who was his best friend in the social network? Your best friend is suing you $400 million. What was his name? Shoot. Let's see. I'm stuck on this, guys, because it's driving me insane. I gotta know. How do I get off? There we go. Eduardo Savrin. Wardo. There we go. She needs to pull case law from the Facebook lawsuit with Eduardo Savrin, who sued Mark Zuckerberg and used the defense that he substantially relied on Mark Zuckerberg's attorneys to represent him because they presented themselves as friendlies throughout all the contract negotiations. If I'm Linciani, baby, I'm pulling case law. I'm pulling case law. That's what a lawyer is hired to do. They are hired to find and implore the best defense, and that is your defense, China. Linciani, at me. Put me on the legal team. I'm not a lawyer, but I be getting hella creative, and I be thinking about, yo, if I was your lawyer, what would I do? I would find case law. Here's a situation where someone sues someone for breach of contract. And the reason why this person won and the jury sided in this person's favor is because they were able to prove that they substantially relied on outside counsel for their decision making because they presented themselves as friendly fire. And I guarantee you, the E Network presented themselves as friendly fire. Oh, we're gonna give you $1,000 to $100,000 today. What's your checking account number? What's your routing number? We're gonna send that wire. They had China going. I know, because she don't know no better. Imagine you walking into work one day and your employer says to you, when you have a number one hit show, because you got to remember, guys, her show was number one. You're not even, your defenses are down because you're thinking my show is number one. Why would they be talking to me about anything else but ducats, but cash money, but that Fetty, but that cream, but that Lucci? Why would I expect anything different? So if I'm Blac Chyna, I'm walking into that meeting and I don't have my defenses up. I'm walking into that meeting thinking I'm the bee's knees. I am your money making machine. I'm money making Monday, in the words of Candy Burris. So if I'm China, I'm walking in feeling relatively confident, and then you tell me you're gonna cut me a check of 100K today, not tomorrow, wire me up. Oh, I'm taking that money, and I'll ask questions later. So China's gonna have to figure that out. She's gonna have to say that it was pure ignorance and that she substantially relied on them. Lynn, if you out there, baby girl, write this down. I know you smarter than me. You don't need me. But seriously, prove that you substantially relied on them as friendly fire. China also needs to prove why she didn't read that contract. Like, why did you sign that? Like, what was your state of mind? And was that really your signature? Did they forge your signature? I'm not I'm not above believing that they will forge a signature. You think they wouldn't? I've seen people do less for little. Like, please. It don't take much to set somebody up in Hollywood and forge their signature, take a little screen print, DocuSign. Everything don't be signed with wet ink. And if China did sign that, then baby girl, did you read it? Now you got to play stupid in court. Now you got to walk into court and prove that your limited high school education led you down this path of deception. Cause that's your only defense, China. You got two options. You can either option A, prove that you substantially relied on them, or option B, prove that you are so stupid that you cannot interpret the English language. Those are your only options. But to sign a kill fee is pretty damaging. Taking money, yikes, yikes, China, yikes. I know you showed. I know you told Lynn about that before y'all went to court. You had to. You had to. And she was crying on stage. She probably felt like they preyed on her. They were like some predators. Like they took advantage of my limited knowledge and the fact that I don't know anything. They took advantage of me, girl. China, if I was you, girl, I would have been snot nosed on that stand. I would have been like, all I ever wanted was to get my GED. Uh, like you gotta go full throttle with your ignorance now. You gotta commit. You gotta push the chips all the way in on ignorance. That's your only option. That or substantial reliance. So I don't know what kind of evidence you got because I'm not in the back end. I wish I was on your legal team because I would tell you how to play it. But on the outside looking in, you gotta play. Hey Deborah Brown, on the outside looking in, if you gotta play like your limited education led you down this path, you gotta go full on. I barely made it out of ninth grade, like full on, full on. Like I do not have the wherewithal to interpret legal jargon, and then you got to prove that you and Kris Jenner had a close, personal, intimate relationship. I would be display. I would be like, I trusted her as my mom. Read this text message where she says she's gonna take care of me. She says she has my back. She said that she's gonna do what's best for me and her son. Why would I think she would kill a hit TV show when I'm on it with her and her son, her own flesh and blood? She killed him too in the process. These people are ruthless. Like she got to be up there snot nose because she done sold herself down the river. So now you got to sell it, China. You got to sell it. Maybe China did rely on her own detriment, and yeah, she did. But Deborah Hall, if she can prove in court that she substantially relied on Kris Jenner as her counsel and Kris Jenner's recommendations for her contract, she will have a case because I'm telling you, look up what happened with Mark Zuckerberg and his friend, Eduardo Saverin, when he sued him over Facebook. One of his main arguments in court was that he substantially relied on the advice of the counsel because he thought that they were his lawyers. He thought that the company hired those people to defend him when really they hired those people to snake him out of millions and millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars. And if I'm China, I'm in the court doc exhibit A. We going to take this back to Facebook. This is set up right now. If I'm China, I'm playing dumb all the way home. All the way home. You'd have been asking me to read. I'd have been like, my reading is a little limited. I don't really understand big words like that. Like, if you look at my Instagram hashtags, if you look at my captions on IG, they real basic. I keep it real ninth grade out here. I don't know too much about nothing. Like at this point, you gotta commit to the fact that ignorance led you down this ridiculous path of signing the kill fee for your own show. Your only defense is retardation. And I hate to say that because there's nothing funny about that. You shouldn't mock the community of disabled people. So I hope she wouldn't employ that level of defense. But if China legitimately, if China legitimately does not understand big words and she legitimately substantially relied on them as her counsel because she does not have the mental capacity to interpret those documents, then that's a legitimate defense. But it's not one to play with. Like you can't just go around saying that. You know what I mean? It got to be a real thing or you screwed yourself. It's one or the other. It's one or the other. But that's honestly the only way she's gonna convince the jury is if she straight up goes, she has to commit and prove that she doesn't understand legal documents. Then they're gonna be like, why didn't you hire a lawyer? Why didn't you hire your own outside counsel to review the documents that you were signing? And she's gotta account for that. She's gonna have to account for that. So that's my take on this recent development in the courthouse. I think it was a major win for the Kardashians, unfortunately. And I think that Lenciani's next move needs to prove substantial reliance. She needs to start pulling case law and back up her claims. Otherwise, China took a big hit today because signing your own death certificate is pretty goddamn damaging. Like that's a pretty big move. So we're gonna see how they bounce back from this. I'm interested in seeing what happens on day what? What are we on day 3, day 4? I'm interested in seeing what happened, and of course, I will check in with you guys and give you my interpretation of what I think is going on. But as always, please be reminded that everything I say here is allegedly and just my opinion. Why? Because I do not know these people. I don't know these people, and I'm honestly just speculating about 90% of the things that I say. But it's entertaining for me, and I hope it's entertaining for you. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. to this channel, and I'll talk to you guys when more news drops. Have a great day. Oh, detriment reliance is the element of promissory estoppel in the law. Deborah Hall, I never went to law school, but even I know in the depths of my soul that that's wrong. I never went to law school. I know a lot of lawyers, and I deal with a lot of contracts in my normal life. But I didn't go to law school. I generally will hire outside counsel to like read through these fine print. But I know for a fact that if you substantially rely on a professional opinion of somebody and they lead you down a wrong path, you can sue them. Like, not only can Blac Chyna sue the Kardashians, she can also sue their attorneys for falsely representing that they were acting in her best interest. Like, this shit, guys, goes so freaking deep. It goes so deep. That's why I wish I was a fly on the wall in LA. I would have paid money to be in that jury box, but I don't live in LA. I couldn't even be subpoenaed to court for jury duty. I would have loved to be in that jury box and hear the tea and know what was really going on. But yes, I hope you guys have a great day. That's my take on everything. Thanks to everybody for stopping into the live. I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.